Hi, I'm David Cantor with the law offices of David Michael Cantor. Today's topic is going to be the crime of luring a minor for sexual exploitation. That's a big word. Luring is the term that you hear the cops and the prosecutors use. Basically, this almost always happens on the internet. And what it means is if a person offers sex knowingly or has a reason to know that they are doing this to a minor, then that is a violation of the law and is a felony. Usually the person on the other end is an undercover cop posing as a 14-year-old girl. Maybe you've seen the TV shows To Catch a Predator, where the guy shows up and he's got his wine coolers and he knocks on the door and he goes in and he sits at the kitchen table and the guy from NBC jumps out and they have a camera. That's kind of what these charges are. Now the punishment on one of these is anywhere from probation with 0 days in jail up to a year in jail, depending, all the way up to 8.75 years in prison. And sex offender registration is always required. If the alleged victim is actually 14 years of age or younger, then it's what's known as a dangerous crimes against children, DCAC, and the punishment is 5 to 15 years in prison. 5 minimum, 7.5 presumptive, 15 max, and that's day-for-day prison time, no time off for good behavior. And if there are multiple counts of luring under DCAC, they have to be stacked by law. That means if there's 3 counts and you get the minimum 5 years on each, it's 5 plus 5 plus 5. So it's very serious charges. Now the defense to these charges almost always involve no intent. What that means is, look, I'm on the internet, I'm screwing around, I figured the person at the other end wasn't really a 14-year-old girl, it was really a 35-year-old guy, and I'm just talking dirty and we're just screwing around. I didn't send any naked photos of myself, nothing like that. The police in recent years, what they will do is say, well, meet me over at Carl's Jr., and they'll see if the person actually drives to that location, and when they do, the cops jump out and they arrest him. That still doesn't mean that the person actually intended to go forward and have sex with somebody. Sometimes they just show up to say, hey, look, I just want somebody to talk to. We're not really going to have sex, and that's the key. So what do you look for? Well, they're going to look to see if the person had a condom on them. They're going to look to see if they had wine coolers with them or alcohol. A large amount of money, and that's where it gets tricky. If they see that there's a large amount of money, and if on the internet the defendant offered money for sex, they're going to charge him with child prostitution, and that is a much more serious charge that involves years and years and years in prison. Another defense to these charges are entrapment, stating, wait a second, I got sucked into this thing and I was set up. Some of the challenges we can use are computer forensics. We can go into the computer, clone the hard drive, and see whether it was actually that person on the computer, or maybe it's 4 guys that live in a dorm room and one guy's on the computer using the password pretending they're the roommate. Sometimes that occurs. Lastly, we're going to challenge the search warrants. When they do come in, they always execute a warrant to get the computer. If they were overly broad and did something inappropriate on the warrant, we can knock out that warrant potentially and therefore get the charge thrown out. Now, we're very successful at defending these charges. If you go to our website on our victory section, you'll see the success that we've had in the past. If you or a friend have been charged with luring a minor for sexual exploitation, go to our website, call our office, come on in for a free initial consultation, and we'll go over your case with you from top to bottom.